Hey everybody, my name's Brittany. I started studying the Bible in April of 2017, and when I started, I knew nothing about it. It was a lot. It was very overwhelming, even stressful at sometimes, because it was so much to learn. So I decided that I wanted to try to do a Bible for Beginners course, where I would go over very basic overviews of parts of the Bible, no explanations, just teaching you where things are so that you know where you want to start, so that you can find things and that you want to learn about. Today we're going to continue with Jesus. Last week we learned about him starting his ministry, and this week we're going to talk about why everyone was against him. When I first started studying, I was extremely naive. I had no understanding of why everyone was so mad at him. Everyone wanted to kill him. I couldn't wrap my head around it. So it really took a lot of studying for me to be able to understand that. But then it's as simple as he was hated from birth. Matthew chapter 2 tells us that as soon as he was born and those wise men mentioned to the king that they wanted to come see him, the king got jealous because he was a new king. And the king didn't want somebody else taking over. That was true for a lot of people. It was just out of jealousy. A lot of others were threatened because of Jesus' massive following. At times he had thousands of people following him at once, and that was threatening to people. It was so threatening that groups of people that didn't ever get along actually came together to try to kill him. The Sadducees and the Pharisees were always at odds with each other. One was very traditional, by the book kind of people. The other were more laid back, thought oral reports were good enough, almost like conservative and liberal kind of feel. But they came together to try to trick Jesus into blasphemy and asking him questions. They would try to trick him into answers, and Jesus always had to be careful of what he said because he could get arrested for blasphemy, which in the end is basically what happened. But they tried to trick him into, because he would do healings on Sunday, his people would not wash their hands before they ate, which, while we might see as gross, was a law back then that the Pharisees and Sadducees followed of their religion. And Jesus kept trying to tell them that their traditions mean nothing because he is the Messiah. If he wants to do something, then he can, right? Let's see. It was even, there's a section that people in his hometown didn't believe him because they knew his parents. They knew Joseph and Mary were pretty poor. There was nothing special about them. They were like, it's like somebody from your hometown coming and saying that he's this big famous person. I was like, really? Or are you just saying that kind of thing? That's how they felt. They didn't want to believe it because he was no one special. His family was no one special, right? Jesus even warned his followers, his apostles, whenever they go out. Let's see, Matthew 10:16, that he was sending them out as sheep among wolves. And the sheep has a big meaning too when we'll get to it later in Revelations. Obviously his apostles being the sheep, the low, the kind of not aggressive, just kind of nice, calm animals against these wolves that are completely aggressive and gonna attack and kind of thing. Let's see, what else do I have? People always, and people thought that he was just lying, that he wasn't the Messiah. So it's a lot of different reasons that people wanted to kill him. But even after all his miracles worked and all that kind of stuff, a lot of it came down to people not believing him somehow, and people being jealous of him and not wanting him to take over. People looked down on him a lot because he hung out with the lowest of the lows, the tax collectors, the prostitutes, even. And they were like, a Messiah wouldn't do that. Jesus was all about love and accepting instead of wars and fighting. They didn't believe the Messiah was going to be like that. They thought the Messiah would be conquering, but he's not. He loves everyone, and he is all about love. And so I think that was a big deal too. One of my favorite verses I want to leave you with, it's been my favorite since I started studying, is it is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call righteous, but sinners. And you can find that at Matthew 12:13, Mark 2:17, and Luke 5:31 and 32. He did associate with lowly people. He saved them, and he made them the highest of highs. And that threw a lot of people off back then. They didn't understand his ways, but we do. And if you want to study more about this, you can find it in Matthew 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, and 21, Mark 3, 6, and 7, Luke 9, 10, 11, 19, and 20, and John 3, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. There's bits and pieces here and there. John obviously has the most. It's a great book to study if you want to see all the kind of fighting and trying to trick Jesus into killing him and stuff like that, into putting him in jail. Next week we will study the death of Jesus. I did a lot of studying on this, the cross, the crucifixion, all of that. I'm excited. Next week will probably be a little bit longer of a video. But have a great week. God bless.